It has started. Ukrainians started pushing pretty much everywhere, across multiple front lines. Russians are in complete panic in Bakhmut. Reportedly, Wagner even abandoned already this city, leaving just the conventional Russian forces who cannot hold the front lines at all. And even reportedly, Russians started to pull lines of defenses from Bakhmut. But more about all of this in just a couple of minutes. What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. And let's get straight to the point and talk about some ridiculous Russian propaganda. So, recently in Moscow, another intercontinental ballistic missile carrier was spotted on Moscow streets. But apparently this was just a car with plastic model of the missile, obviously targeting Washington. So, pretty much just another clown for you to laugh at. And speaking some more about ridiculous Russian news, according to the press secretary of Russia Dmitry Peskov, he explained why Russia is not doing its war in Ukraine so fast, because according to him, exactly, that is not a war, this is a special military operation. That is why we are carefully targeting our objectives and military targets, and pretty much that's the reason why it takes so long. And I mean, it looks like that's why they had to use one of the most modern, ultra-technological, hypersonic missiles called Kinzhal to attack Ukrainian civilian infrastructure. And speaking about Kinzhal, recently for the very first time one of such missiles was able to be intercepted thanks to Ukrainians using Patriot air defense system, and in this video you can see them exploring and basically all these remains of the missile, so they can see how to protect themselves in the future even better. But anyways, just a quick off topic here, I just really wanted to share some quick fact about myself with you guys. So maybe some of you already know, but I'm a huge hockey fan. And can you please let me know in the comments which team you think is my favorite? And for those of you, there is a hint on my Instagram, so please feel free to follow it. And so yes, a couple of weeks ago I had a trip to Texas, right in the middle of NHL playoffs, and so routinely my favorite team was playing, so I launched my Canadian app where I watched the games, but unfortunately it was not available because of geographical restrictions. I almost had a panic attack. I mean, my favorite team is playing. They need all the support in the world they can get, including from me. And then I just remembered that a couple of months ago I partnered with Atlas VPN. And one of the best things about VPN services is that they allow you to change your location. So I launched my Atlas VPN app on my phone, connected to a Canadian server, and here you go. My team was playing, the connection was perfect, no lag, no issues, nothing like this. And by the way, at that day they won. But what's this even VPN? Well, this is a virtual private network, which will allow all of your internet traffic to travel safely through a protected and encrypted tunnel. And this way it protects you from the data breach, malicious software, and of course the Russian hackers. And I was able to get an incredible deal, so get ready for this. Not 50, not 75, but 83% discount for a 3-year deal with 3 months for free, and it only comes at $1.83 per month. And in order to activate this limited time offer, please use my link in the description. It's extremely easy. With Atlas VPN you can finally use the public Wi-Fi, you can finally see movies and TV shows on your favorite streaming platforms, such as Netflix, which recently have been unavailable due to geolocation restrictions. And so right now, if you want to become a part of the Russian Dude VPN gang, please use my link down below. Make sure to take advantage of this limited time offer, which gives you 83% discount, 3 months for free, and unlocks all the features of safe VPN browsing for only $1.83 per month. And if you are still not satisfied, there is a 30 days money back guarantee. Thank you so much Atlas VPN for sponsoring this video, and now back to the program. Alright, and now let's really briefly talk about the Western support to Ukraine, and then I'll give you an update from the south and the east of Ukraine, and this complete, total chaos from the Russian side in Bakhmut. And first of all, as you can see from this video, Ukraine allegedly received Turkish armored personnel carriers called Atakar Cobra II, which was not previously reported. Then we have the statement by the Ministry of Defense of the United Kingdom, and they claim that all the Challenger 2 tanks requested by Ukraine have been already delivered to the country. Next we have a country of Poland, which pledged 14 MiG-29 planes to Ukraine, which is half of total planes pledged to Ukraine, which is the number of 28, and also Poland pledged 325 tanks out of total 575 units. And just overall, it is estimated that since the beginning of this war, Ukraine received a total number of 600 different units of military vehicles and equipment. Just mind-blowing. But Ukraine does not only receive military support from the West, they only develop their own weapons, such as for example this aquatic drone Toloka TLK-150. And what makes them so much better than just regular torpedoes is that this is an actual drone with the camera. It can be controlled remotely, it goes underwater, so it will be so much easier for Ukrainians from now on to destroy Russian ships. And besides that, Ukrainians are constantly training to use military equipment, specifically the one received from the West. They train to use tanks, minesweepers, and also bridge builders. And well, what do you think Russians do on their side? Well, they continue to build these metallic nets over their tanks and other military vehicles, hoping to protect themselves from drones and from other missiles, which, to be honest, does not look effective. But you know what? This is exactly the same system which they have been using on their T-55 tanks, which was almost 70 years ago. And honestly, 70 years ago this protection looked a little bit more promising. And I mean, yeah, if you also think this is not going to work, can you please like this video and subscribe to my channel to see if I'm not the only one. Alright. Now let me give you a very brief update from the south and the east of Ukraine, and that pretty much Ukrainians launched their ultimate counteroffensive, finally, across multiple front lines. And so yes, first of all, we had some early reports that Ukrainians were very active on Dnipro river, trying to cross to another side of Kherson region. Later this information was not exactly 100% confirmed by the General Staff of Ukraine, but it does not matter, because if you remember, in the last several days, Ukrainians already attempted to do combat activities on another side of Kherson. Next we have some reports from Zaporozhye region, and according to Russian infiltrators located in that area, Ukrainians started to actively push along Orikhiv-Hulyai-Pole front line, and even in some places they were able to breach the first line of defense of Russians. There is even a report that Ukrainians started pushing to the south of Zolota and Niva. They were able to cross the river and started to push Russians further to the south. Going more to the north, there were even some reports that Ukrainians activated and started driving their military vehicles around Kharkov region, most likely to try and hold Russians who will be coming from Belgorod in the near future. And then even more combat activity by Ukrainians have been reported along this entire Kupiansk-Liman front line. According to Russian sources, Ukrainians started to also actively push to the north of Soledar, most likely attempting to approach Russians in Bakhmut from the north. And also, some very intense pressure by Ukrainians have been reported to the north of Bakhmut, next to Berkhivka and Yakhidne. Speaking about Bakhmut itself, the major concentration of Ukrainian forces was spotted to the west of the city, and they were marching towards the city center from the direction of Khromovye and Ivanovsky. And speaking about Ivanovsky, some Ukrainian counteroffensive activity has been reported also to the south of this city. And what we have at this very moment, these are the approximate directions of Ukrainian attacks around Bakhmut. And as you can see, in case they are successful, they will be able to approach Russians from behind and potentially even surround them. And some Russians, who most likely already know what's coming next, they started surrendering at surging speed. Such as, for example, in this video we can see a Russian soldier surrendering to Ukrainian drone. The entire video is almost 3 minutes long, and the process is unexpectedly pretty interesting. So I uploaded the entire version to my Patreon. There's still 1 week of free access, and the link will be down below. And just to show you that all of this is actually happening, just take a look at this, how the front line changed in the last 9 hours only. Ukrainians were able to liberate some territories to the south of Ivanovsky, and the number of these red arrows, which shows the offensive directions of Russians, decreased significantly. But wait, there is more. It is not the only place where Ukrainians are actively attacking in the east. Also, some counteroffensive activities have been reported to the west of Horlivka. And just overall, right here on the map I will draw only the approximate directions which have been reported of Ukrainian counteroffensive in the last 10 hours. They're happening in Kherson, in Orikhiv, in Kupiansk, in Solidar, in Bakhmut and in Horlivka. So pretty much as you can see, yes, Ukrainians are trying to push Russians across multiple front lines at once. And what can be the very best confirmation that all of this is actually happening? Well, according to the Ministry of Defense of Russia, they said that Ukrainians are not attacking anywhere and the situation is under control. But so yeah, the best part about all of this is that the most intense counteroffensive activities by Ukrainians are happening right now in Bakhmut, creating a total chaos for Russians, making Wagner pretty much leave the city, and Russian conventional forces are no longer able to do anything. This information came to us directly from the leader of Wagner, Yevgeny Prigozhin, who is saying that Ukrainians are pushing so hard from the flanks of Bakhmut, and Russians, they simply cannot hold them. He also mentioned that the situation in Bakhmut right now is the worst case scenario for the Russian forces. All these lives which were sacrificed, especially by Wagner, so many people were able to just barely advance in Bakhmut and capture only a little bit more than half of this city in almost 9 months. And now Ukrainians take so much back in less than 24 hours. He once again emphasized the idea that Wagner soldiers are right now primarily trying to hold Ukrainians next to the front line, but it is regular Russian conventional forces protecting the flanks, and they fail completely, and they already started running. And right here, for example, is one of the earliest pictures confirming this fact. Right here we can see a couple of Ukrainian soldiers next to abandoned Russian trenches. Then Prigozhin also makes the claim that the number of Wagner soldiers is so low they will not be able to relocate them from the front lines to cover the flanks, which most likely means that Wagner will need to leave Bakhmut as well. And you know what? According to some Western media, this process has already started. Exactly right. Wagner soldiers started abandoning Bakhmut. They spent so much time capturing it, and they are about to lose it in just a couple of days. As a result of all of this, I'm pretty positive that for the next several days we're gonna see a lot of events happening at once, and if you don't want to miss any of them, just please consider subscribing to my channel. It only takes one click. Thank you so much Atlas VPN for sponsoring this video. Please use my link down below in the description, and also check my Patreon. Everything can be found to the right and down below. Thank you so much for your attention, товарищи, and see you tomorrow.